Today in this class, we'll be discussing mainly the numericals of 11th class. 11th class के numericals based on motion in one dimension. So first we are given that a body is dropped from a cliff and 1 second later another stone is thrown vertically downwards with a velocity of 20 meter per second. How far below the top of the cliff will the second stone overtake the first? So you are given that you have a tall cliff from the top of which a body is dropped. So basically you have two bodies. So we can say like you have a cliff at a certain height h and a body is dropped from the top of this cliff. When we are given that a body is dropped, that means initial velocity of the body is zero. So you would drop a body from this point and in certain density it travels up to this point. Say it travels from A to B, a certain distance h. Now another body which is dropped 1 second later, it will overtake the first. If it overtakes the first, it has to travel the same distance. So we say second body is dropped from the same point, but 1 second later, and it's thrown with a velocity of 20 meter per second. So when you throw it with a velocity of 20 meter per second, that means u is 20. And at this point, it overtakes the first body. This basically implies that whatever distance first body has traveled in time t, the second body travels same distance in time t minus 1 because it was thrown 1 second later. Both are moving under the effect of gravity. We can assume downward direction as positive. G is positive for both the bodies. For first body, if you write the equation, and even if you write it first initially as at square, now we are given that for first body u is 0, a is g. So distance traveled will be whereas second body travels the same distance s when it is thrown with velocity of 20 in time t minus 1. So for second body the equation will be u is 20 and it travels same distance s but in time t minus 1. So equation will be acceleration is still the same. So 20t minus 20 plus half. So हमारे पास दो values आएगी, like one is s is equals to half gd squared, other is s is this value. So you can equate these two values, first and second equation. If you equate, you will get the value of t. So equating 1 and 2. If you equate 1 and 2, you get half gd square and if you substitute the value of t, half gd square gets cancelled. You get 20t minus gt. 10t is equals to 15. So after 1.5 second, the second body will overtake the first. And distance traveled by body in this time is half gd square. Half 5 into 1.5 is square. So we will get this answer. This is 10. So after traveling a distance of 11.25 meters, second body will overtake the first one. This first numerical. Second is a truck travels at a constant speed of 80 km per hour and passes a slowly moving car. At the instant truck passes the car begins to accelerate at a constant rate of 1.2 meter per second square. So you can draw two tracks, one for car and one for truck. We are given that truck travels at a constant speed. Truck travels at a constant speed of 80 km per hour and passes a slowly moving car. You have a car which is moving slowly. As soon as we are not given the velocity of this car, this is not given you. As soon as the truck passes, car begins to accelerate. This is constant speed. Truck is moving with constant speed means acceleration of truck is zero. And acceleration of car is given as 1.2 meter per second square. And further down the road, 500 meter down the road, it passes the truck. So 500 meter down the road, car overtakes the truck. So we have to find what is the velocity speed of car when truck overtakes it. U निकालना है. For truck, A is 0, distance traveled is 500 with a speed of 80 km per hour. This is 80 into 5 by 80 using S is equals to UT for truck because A is 0. So 500 is equals to 80 into 5 by 18. So we can find the time taken by the truck to move from point A to point B. In the same time, car also travels the same distance. So T is 500 into 18. 80 into 5 is 400. So 18 5 is 90. 90 by 4 seconds. 90 by 4 is 22.5. So in 22.5 seconds, truck moves from A to B. In the same time, car travels from A to B. If you write equation for car, U is equals to unknown. Acceleration is 1.2 meter per second square. Distance traveled is and and time is 90 by 4 seconds. So you get S is equals to so from this you can find the value of U. Because हमें दिया whatever distance is traveled by truck, the same distance is traveled by car. But car has an initial velocity of U and it is accelerating. So truck is moving with constant speed. So as the car goes on increasing its velocity, a stage has come where say after a distance of 500 meter, the car is going to overtake the truck. So हमने basically you have to equate the distance traveled by both. Because initial point we take the point where the truck overtakes the car, and final point is where car overtakes the truck. So whatever is the distance traveled by truck, same will be the distance traveled by the car. Third is a train starts from one station, comes to rest in another station 3 kilometers off, uniformly accelerating for two-thirds of journey and retarded for remainder, and takes 3 minutes to describe the whole distance. Find acceleration, retardation, and maximum velocity. When such a question comes, it's always the best option to draw the graph, velocity time graph. And area under velocity time graph is distance or displacement because it's moving in a straight line, so distance and displacement will be equal for all points. So if we draw the graph, we are given cast train starts from rest. For two-thirds of the journey, its speed is increasing and then it retards. So it is required maximum speed, let it be Vmax. We assume that it accelerates at a rate A1 in time T1. Slope of this graph is A1, slope of this is minus A2 and retards to 0. This is two-thirds of the journey and this is one-third of the journey. Area under the graph is distance traveled. Maximum speed is both same. Like you can say car moves from O to A and then A to B. For O to A, car starts from rest. Initial speed is 0. Initial speed of car is 0. Its acceleration is A1. It accelerates for time T1. So V is equals to U plus AT. If we are taking it started from rest, accelerates at a rate A1 and acquires a certain velocity Vmax. So Vmax will be A1 T1 U0. Similarly, for A to B, now initial speed at A is Vmax, acceleration is minus A2 because it's retardation, time taken is T2 and it comes to the state B. So final velocity is 0. Again, if we use final velocity is 0, initial is Vmax. So you get Vmax is equals to A to T2. Now, if you see carefully, we are given that area of this triangle, it's double of area of this. Height is same. If height is same, because ये V max है and area is double, that means T1 is double that of T2, because area is half base into height. अगर area double और height same है तो that means base is double. So T1 is twice of T2. Also, A1 T1 is equals to A2 T2, and T1 is twice of T2. So you get that A2 is twice of A1. We got this relation कि retardation का जो rate है that's double that of the acceleration. Now we have to tell total time taken is 3 minutes. We got this T1 is equals to twice of T2, and T1 plus T2 is 3. That means T1 is 2 minutes. Then only this condition will be satisfied. That T1 is twice of T2. So train accelerates for 2 minutes and then retards for 1 minute. You have to find acceleration and retardation also. What else we are given? Total distance traveled is 3 kilometer. 2/3s is half Vmax. 2 minutes is 120 seconds. Because first triangle का area. Half base is 120 second, height is Vmax. And that is 2/3s. S is 3 kilometers, that means 3000 meters. This means 60. So acceleration is, so speed is 100/3 meter per second. And अगर A1 निकालना है, तो you know A1 T1 is equals to Vmax. A1 into 120 is equals to 100/3. So A1 is 100/360. Similarly, A2 is double of this. A2 इसका double हो जाएगा. Next is a stone is dropped from a balloon going up with 5 meter per second. If the balloon was 50 meter high, when the stone was dropped, find when will the stone hit the ground. This is just like vertical projectile. Body is moving up. Balloon was 50 meter high when the stone was dropped. You have to find the height when stone hits the ground. So first you have to find the time when stone hits the ground. You have to find this value. Time when stone hits the ground. Initial velocity is given 5 meter per second. And displacement of stone is upward direction if we take it positive. Displacement of stone is minus 50 meter. So we say U is equals to 5 meter per second. And body is moving under the effect of gravity. A is equals to minus G. Using S is minus 50 meter is equals to 5t minus 5t square, or you can say 5t square minus 5t minus 50 is equals to 0, or you get t square minus t minus 10 is equals to 0. This is the time. You have to take the positive value because time cannot be negative. And then height of balloon, height of balloon will be, initially it's 50, and in time t it moves up further by 5t. So height of the balloon is 50 plus 5t. So because we are given that it's dropped from a moving balloon, so first we have to find the time taken by the body to reach the ground. In that time, as the body is moving down to the ground, balloon is moving up. Initial height of balloon is 50 meters. So in time t, it travels further by 5t because 5 is its velocity. So you can say total height of the balloon will be 50 plus 5t. A body is dropped from rest and falls half of the total distance in last second of its motion. From what height is the ball dropped? We are given that ball is dropped. Now when it's given it's dropped, that means its initial velocity is 0 because it's dropped from a certain height, not from a moving object. If body is dropped from a moving object, in that case we take initial velocity as the velocity of that moving object. In this case it's given it's dropped from a height. Building के ऊपर से it dropped it. So initial velocity is 0. Then we are given in last second, it travels half of the total distance traveled in last second of its motion. Whatever is the total distance, so we say if it's dropped from H in last second, it covers half of the distance. Means if total height is H, it covers H by 2 in last second, H by 2 in the remaining time. So if we take total time as n second, it covers H by 2. Because if total time is n, you drop from here, t is equals to 0. In n second it reaches. This time is 1 second. That means it reaches this point. So if n seconds distance traveled is h, in n minus 1 it's h by 2. We take two regions, A to B and A to C. A to C time taken is n. In both the cases u is 0. So for AB, S is equals to A to B distance traveled is h by 2 and time taken is n minus 1 seconds. For B to C, sorry, A to C, take complete distance. A to C, distance traveled is h and time taken is n seconds. If you take the ratio, so dividing 1 by 2. You can say n square is equals to twice of n minus 1. So basically we are using the concept that if in last second it covers half of the distance, that means remaining half is covered in n minus 1 seconds. Remaining half is covered in n minus 1 second means h by 2 in n minus 1 and h in the total n seconds. So from this ratio we can find the value of h. पहले n निकाल लेंगे and n के बाद you can find the value of h. We are given that total distance traveled is h, say from A to C. If we take that A to C time taken is n seconds. If A to C time taken is n second and last second में आधा distance cover किया, last second में आधा distance cover किया, that means n minus 1 में बाकी half. So we say if in n second it travels a distance of h meter, in n minus 1 it travels a distance of h by 2. So first you find the value of n, substitute n in any of these two equations, you will get the height. A driver of a train running at 97 km per hour observes another train moving on a same track 60 meters ahead in the same direction. You have a train which is moving with 97 km per hour. And you observe another train moving in the same direction but a slower speed, 60 meters ahead. The driver instantly applies brake. How much is the deceleration? You have to find retardation of the train so that collision is averted. So it's a relative concept. If two bodies are moving in the same direction, if two bodies are moving in the same direction, then relative velocity is difference of two. The faster moving train, अगर ये अपनी speed 97 से if it decreases to 48, they will not collide. Means initially the relative speed is 97 minus 48 kilometer per hour, and final relative speed is 0, because finally both the trains are moving in the same direction with same velocity, and the relative distance traveled is the distance between two trains. So this is 49 kilometer per hour, or meter per second means 49 into 5 by 18. Now you can simply apply the formula. Retardation is final relative velocity square minus initial upon 2 into SR. So 0 minus, so this will give you the answer. What should be the retardation of the train? So you can find the retardation. So whenever two bodies are moving in the same direction, always try to use the relative concepts. Initial relative velocity given है, substitute the final relative velocity and then you can find the answer. और कभी भी पीछे वाली ट्रेन को you don't have to stop. अगर आगे वाली ट्रेन 48 से चल रही है, पीछे वाली ट्रेन की भी 48 हो जाएगी, तो they will start moving parallel to each other. They will not collide. So you don't have to stop the train which is moving faster. You just have to reduce the relative velocity to 0. So initially they are having a relative velocity of 49 and finally it reduces to 0. And SR is the relative distance. Relative distance because ये train अगर x करेगी travel, तो this has 60 plus x to travel. तो आपको relative distance देखना है कि relative distance कितना है. So you just have to apply the relative distance and then you can find. car is moving with constant acceleration, covered distance between 2.60 meter apart in 6 seconds. It passes the second point at a speed of 15. What is the speed at first point? What was the acceleration? What was the prior point from the first point where car is at rest? Now, we are given that a car is moving with constant acceleration. Somewhere along the path, we take two intervals. 60 meter apart. And car travels a distance of 60 meter in 6 seconds. Its final speed, so you have to find the initial speed u. Kinematics, when we did in class, I told that there are 5 variables u, v, a, s and t. Normally 3 variables are given. इस केस में हमें क्या given है? We are given the final velocity, we are given the displacement, and we are given the time. So if 3 variables are given, remaining 2 can always be calculated. So हमें इसमें जो 3 variables दिए हैं, they are v, s and t. Equations हमारे पास है, हमने u निकालना है और a निकालना है. So first हमारे पास equations जो हैं, kinematics, and these equations can only be applied if a is constant. If a is variable, you cannot use these equations. We are given that constant acceleration is there, so you can use any of these 3 equations to find the result. So कौन सी equation use कर सकते हैं सबसे पहले? Because हमें 2 variables नहीं पता, तो first you have to eliminate one variable. Like हमें given है v is equals to u plus at. That means you can find the value of t from it and substitute in second. या u की वैल्यू सब्स्टिट्यूट कर दो, बिकॉज हमारे पास जो इक्वेशंस हैं, b square minus u square is equal to 2s. So कैसे सॉल्व करोगे? Derive the equation of uniformly accelerated motion in graphical method. Which equation? Because there are 3 equations. Which equations you want me to derive? Like if I number the equation, which equation you want me to derive? First, second or third? Because all 3 can be derived from velocity time graphs. तो तीनों में से कोई भी derive हो जाएगी, तो कौन सी derive करनी है? Second equation. S is equal to ut plus aver-age square. If we draw the uniform acceleration graph, initial velocity is u. After time t, the velocity is v. We have done that. Area under velocity time graph is the distance traveled. So you can say this is area of trapezium plus area of this triangle. Now this side is t, this side is u. ये पूरा v है, this is u, so this side is v minus u. So we say distance traveled or displacement is area of triangle plus area of rectangle. Now area of triangle is half इस triangle का area अगर निकाले, half base, base is t, height is v minus u, and for rectangle the area is ut. Also we know that V minus U is 80. So if you substitute this value here, so you get S is equals to UT plus RVD square. So अगर आप triangle plus rectangle लोगे तो it will be UT plus RVD square. If you take directly for trapezium, कि अगर हम इस पूरे trapezium का एरिया ले लें, then you will get this result. V square minus U square is equals to 2AS. Next is इसको complete करके देखना because values are given. You just have to rearrange the equations. A car starts moving rectilinearly. First with acceleration A is equal to 5 meter per second square. Initial velocity is 0. Then uniformly and finally decelerating at the same rate to come to rest. So we are given 3 intervals. Car first accelerates, then it moves with uniform velocity and finally retards. Now when we say that car first accelerates and then retards at the same rate, so basically acceleration and retardation time will be same. Because pehle change in velocity is from 0 to v in time t1 and then it's from v to 0 in time t2. So if acceleration and retardation, we say if you talk about shift magnitude, so it's delta u by t. So if acceleration is same and change in velocity is same, then you can say that time taken will also be same. So if you draw its graph, if you draw the vt graph, we are given car accelerates, then travels at a constant rate, finally retards. This time is given, say t. This is also t. Total time is 25 seconds. That means this whole is 25. That means this is 25 minus 2t. Average velocity is 72 km per hour. 72 km per hour means it's 20 meter per second. And average velocity is total distance upon total time. Means 20 is equals to, that means total distance for the journey is 500 meter. हमें total distance पता है, total time पता है. You have to find how long does it move. इसकी value निकालनी है. Now distance traveled, you have another formula, that area under the graph. ट्रेपेजियम का एरिया अगर हम लें, half sum of opposite sides into distance between the two sides, and distance between the two sides is V max. हमें एक चीज और दी थी, acceleration is 5 meter per second square. Now if acceleration is 5 meter per second square, अगर मैं सिर्फ ये रीजन कंसिडर करता हूँ, A to B, initial speed is 0, acceleration is 5, time taken is t. So we can say V max is equals to, using V is equals to U plus 80. If I put V max as 85t, so 500 is equals to half. So you get 200 is equals to 50t minus 2t square. You get 2t square minus 50t plus 200 is equals to 0. By 4. So 50 plus minus, this is 4 into 2, 8 into 2, 1600, 930 by 4. 80 by 4 and 20 by 4. So t comes out to be 5 seconds. 80 by 4 we can't take because total time is 25 seconds. If you take 80 by 4, then it becomes greater than 25 seconds. So yeah, so constant velocity, body moves with constant velocity for 25 minus 2t. That means 15 seconds. So what part you want me to explain? हमने इसको ग्राफ से सॉल्व किया है. We have said that body starts from rest. तो उसका VT ग्राफ यहाँ से शुरू होगा. It moves with constant acceleration of 5 meter per second square. Then moves with constant velocity. Means in this region acceleration is 0 and it finally retards. तो इस पूरी जर्नी में टोटल टाइम लगा 25 सेकेंड और हमें एवरेज स्पीड दी है. तो एवरेज स्पीड होती है टोटल डिस्प्लेसमेंट अपॉन टोटल टाइम. फर्स्ट वी फाइंड द डिस्टेंस ट्रैवल्ड. Once we know the distance traveled, you apply the graphical method. Graphical method says that area under the graph is the distance traveled. So area of trapezium क्या हो जाएगा? Half sum of opposite side. One side is 25 minus 2t, other side is 25. So half sum of opposite sides into distance between them, and that is V max. V max की वैल्यू आप यहाँ से निकाल सकते हो. A to B. A to B initial speed 0 है, final speed V max है. So you can find that V max is equals to 5t. V max की वैल्यू पुट करो तो you will get the t and you have to find the value of 25 minus 2t. Can I have next is a body covers 10 meter in second, 25 meter in fifth second of its motion. If body is uniformly accelerated, then how far will it go in 7 seconds? nth second का simple formula लगा दो. Body covers 10 meter, S in its formula is u plus a by 2, 2n minus 1. We are given that it travels 10 meter in second. तो n को अगर हम 2 पुट करें, 2 into 2, 4 minus 1. This first equation. And it covers 25 meter in fifth second. If I substitute n is equals to 5, then it's 25. इन दोनों इक्वेशन से you can solve the simultaneous equation to find the value of u and a. Once you know the value of u and a, how far will it go in 7 seconds you can calculate. So use these two equations to find the value of u and a. And then you can apply any formula. So next time we will do, and because if there is some problem, first of all I think I will revise the graphs and motion under gravity in the next class, and then we will do more numericals and MCQs of this part. If you have any doubt, you can send in. Circular motion will take time because we have to do first this part and then we have to go to the projectile motion, and then we can move to the circular part, because I have to do it in order. I can't break the order of the class.